Hello, this is Commander Hugh Jardon here. Welcome to another one of my Elite Dangerous how to do videos. Um, this, this one is a result of combining a couple of projects I've been working on for some time. Um, so when you look at it, it looks all dead easy, which it is, because you have the answer, but it did take a lot of work and research to get to this point. So what it's all about is making money for nothing. And basically, when you've finished play, you can park up your ship, and when you come back 6 or 8 hours later, you could be 700 million richer, plus get a load of materials. And I'm going to show you how that works. Um, it's just an this one here is just an academic exercise, really. I'm not recommending that you 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 do it. It's just a bit of fun. Uh, Now, if you want to see, if you're a normal player and want to play the game normally, but you want to make a lot of money or you want to have a bit of fun, look at my previous video, which shows in detail how to do this in a normal ship and go out, kill some pirates, and get a lot of money for it. And you can do that as an absolute beginner or an experienced pirate, if you want. If you just need a lot of money, that's how to do it. But this is a derivative of that, how to do it without playing. Right. Um, where am I? I'm at Hickam Survey in Ngalin. You can see Ngalin spelled at the bottom left of the screen there, Ngalin. So you can come out here, and they offer pirate massacre missions. Has to be pirates, not smugglers. So watch out for that. I'll show you in a minute. And so basically, you load up with missions. Well, first of all, you've got to rep up, and once you're repped up, you've done enough missions to get the maximum allied. Then you start to see missions paying 41 million for killing 30 pirates. And the idea is to get a balance of those missions from each of the is 5 of the 7 factions that give these missions, and get a balance of them for around about 120 pirates, which will get you 600 million at least. And then off you go, park your ship there, and I'm going to show you how that works. Leave it there, and then come back many hours later, and it will have done all the work for you. Uh, Now, I'll just show you the missions first of all. So I'm fully repped up now, as you'll see, with all the ones that do the missions. Here we go, all allied. And the missions don't show in every refresh. So it takes you a fair while to get the missions. So there's several ways you can do that. You can just check every 10 minutes and load the ones that you want. And that'll probably take you about an hour and a half. So that's doing work. Or you can just leave your computer on during the day, and every so often, when you feel like it, come and have a look, see what's there, and take those missions. So yes, it still takes some time, but that's all the work is getting the missions. So as I say, this is just academic exercise, just a bit of fun, right? So this faction offers missions, but as you can see, none at the moment. But within a couple of refreshes, suddenly they'll be back again. And this one, it's all or nothing. You don't see any for ages, and suddenly they're all there, and you can take them all in one refresh, and then you won't see any again for ages. These people don't normally offer the 41 for 30. I have seen them, but it's much rarer. So this one offers smugglers missions. Don't get confused with those. They often hide them between the pirates ones. So this one only offers wing missions normally. I won't say only, but mainly offers wing missions. So you're going to be stuck with probably taking a couple of these 30 mil ones for about 63 pirates. How many is that for? It's for 72. So if you took that one, you'd need one for a bit less to balance it out. It's very important that it's fairly important that you get the same number from each faction. But if you go out of balance, all it means is it takes longer to complete all the kills because the number of pirates goes up if you've got your full complement of 20 missions. So by keeping in balance, that's the best. It's going to be the shortest time your ship needs to do. But if you're going to park it up overnight for 12 hours, you could let one of them go up to like 150 pirates, and it'll still complete by the morning. I would have thought. So it took me. I've only done one full test of completely away from the keyboard, and it took about 6 hours to do the 120. So what's that, about 20 an hour? Yeah, something like that, depending on the spawn. So these jet ones, again, they do come and go, but when they're there in a lot. So generally you're not interested in the wing missions because they don't pay as well per pirate. So the 41 mil per 30 pirates is obviously a good rate. These ones pay one 500,000 per pirate, the wing missions. So obviously you're not going to end up with as much money by the time you get your 20 missions. If you do the wing missions. So the Empire Party, they're always very good at offering them. But there's none here at the moment. They're all wing missions. And what you get does depend on, to an extent, on what you've already got. The game plays tricks on you that, it knows when you've got some missions and it seems to change what it offers you depending on what you've got. I don't know how, but it does that. Right. These war grannies, you notice I've lost some rep, but what happened was I took on some missions that weren't the best, they weren't optimal, and then later on, a whole load of the optimal ones came. So what I did, I swapped them over, and when you cancel missions, obviously your rep goes down. But it's not a problem because when I've completed now, that'll be back up. So the first thing when I come back, I see I don't need to take any more missions. Got a full complement. When I come back, uh, cashing in the missions will get my rep back again. So I didn't actually lose anything there. Well, it looks like I have. So I've got full 20 missions, and these particular ones are worth um, about 700 million credits. So, one other thing, important thing. Let's talk about ships now. Uh, this at Hickam Survey, it's an outpost, so you can only get the missions from a smallish ship. You know, Fer de Lance, Vulture, or your Diamondback runaround, or whatever you want to do. So you need the main ship parked somewhere nearby. So if you've got a fleet carrier, you can bring that here. It's very crowded here. I think the word's getting round already. I posted a beginner's video the other day, and that seemed to swing things. And another guy posted something he didn't figure out about this low resource extraction site, which makes everything a lot easier. Um, but there does seem to be a lot of people all of a sudden turning up here, so you might have to park one or two systems away. Still not a problem. Um, I don't know where the nearest main station is, but if you just use any of the normal tools, you'll see how close you can get, and just park your main ship there, and then use your other one to just jump across. I'm sure there's a station within a short distance. Yeah, a main station where you can park a big ship. So you come across here in your small ship, load up with missions, and then go back, get your main ship, and then go and do it. So you don't have to worry any ship at all. The basic Sidewinder would do this, but there is one caveat, and it's that once you've got the missions, you might get interdicted. I've only ever been interdicted on the main run to the resource extraction site, never going to my carrier or anything like that. That's not to say it wouldn't happen. So just bear that in mind. But the other thing is the interdictors always scale to your ship. So if you're using a Diamondback or a Vulture or something like that, you get an even fight. But I don't know about a Sidewinder. But anyway, that's up to you. So let's see if I can see my main ship. If I still got it open, no, I'm going to have to open something. Okay, let's just have a look at this ship build. This is a T10. I have used a Corvette as well. I think an Anaconda might work, but definitely the T10 is the best by quite a bit. The weapons placement is better. You get more slots for the turrets, and point defense seems to work a lot better. So yeah, as I said, I haven't tried an Anaconda, but the Corvette did work once I got it optimized. Right, I've spent a lot of time on the weapons, trying to get them right to get enough firepower and do enough damage and everything without draining the distributor and overheating the ship. So this is a combination I've come up with, and it seems to work quite well. So it's all of the larger ones are burst lasers. The medium ones are pulse lasers, and the small ones beam lasers. They're all long range. That's very important because the NPCs will spend a lot of time between 3 and 6 kilometers, and you won't get credited with the kills um, if when they're sitting there and the police finish them off. You have to watch it all to see what happens, but I won't bore you with all that. But you just have to accept my word for it. So nothing but long range, and they've all got flow control to reduce the power draw. But the two beams have got thermal vent. That's just to help cool the ship down a bit. Not that they get much chance to land on anything, but every little helps. And it seems to be a nice balance between distributor draw, damage, and things like that. The shield boosters, I've gone for maximum shield strength. If you can find a better combination, by all means use it. But I think this is it. 2 heavy duties and the rest all resistance all augmented, all with super capacitors. And a very one important thing here, you need this slot for point defense, and that stops the hatchbreaker limpets from stealing your cargo, which is effectively your bait, because once your bait's gone, you won't get any more bites anymore, and the pirates won't be interested in you. They'll just scan you and fly away, and if they don't shoot you, your weapons won't shoot them back. So you're going to leave the weapons on fire at will. So what will happen is your ship just sits there, and as soon as they open fire on you, your lasers will fire back at them, and when you've killed it, they'll stop. So you don't have to do anything at all. That's what makes it fully automatic. Uh, so here on the shields, fast charge is very important. So it can only be by weave shields, and I've got thermal, what do they call it? Thermal resistant grade 5 with fast charge, and that gets me 8,000 thermal damage. I think most of these NPCs, because it's a low resource extraction site, they're all using lasers. I have seen some missiles, but not a lot. I don't hear rail guns and stuff like that going off. So it's lasers and missiles. So we got 10,000 explosives, so that's pretty good. Missiles won't hurt you. So if you can come up with a combination which gives more of these two, then good luck to you. And you can by filling these with Guardian reinforcements as well. So every slot Guardian shield reinforcement. I've left this one here as a cargo rack, and this one with a collector limpets here. So I've forfeited a little bit of shields. Um, that's because I was using this for material harvesting. So you can go to, if you log until you get a spawn of large ships, which isn't that often at this particular place, um, you can, while you're watching Netflix or something, just um, keep going and deploy your collector limpets when they expire, so that it's continuously harvesting the materials. So it's only worth doing that in a large ship spawn because the materials you get from the small ones are not very good. Uh, the rest of the stuff is pretty standard. Nothing really to talk about. Maximum power plants, with what do they call it? Um, oops, overcharge. Oh, right, yeah, I put thermal spread in it because to reduce the heat. Thrusters, drag, dirty drives, frameshift drive, not important at all. Um, so I just done maximum to because I could, but I'm only flying from my fleet carrier 3 light years and then back again. So it's you don't really need a shift, a good one for that. Life support, don't need to do anything to that. I did lightweight just because I had that one. Um, it doesn't never use it, so it doesn't do anything. Power distributor is important. You have to get as much charge as possible from it. So it's charge enhanced with oops, keep clicking the wrong button, with super conduits, and that's to keep the shields and to feed as much power to the weapons whilst keeping the shields up at the same time. The engines isn't so important. I don't know whether weapons focus would be any advantage. I don't think so because these shields would suffer a bit. I think sensors again, it's fairly important if you want to know what's going on. And if you're doing any res farming at all, I would always recommend A sensors maxed out for long range. Um, a load of people disagree with that in the forum, but I don't think they've done as much res farming as I've done. I've got about 200,000 kills, and when you add it all up, it comes to literally thousands of hours sitting in a resource extraction site, testing out all different things and different ways and speeds and kill rates and stuff like that. And I can tell you without question that 4A sensors give you a big advantage because a lot of the NPCs drop in around about 12 kilometers, and eventually they might come to you, but sometimes not. And with uh, D-rated sensors, even with long range, that gives you normally about 10 kilometers. It's not enough to see them. You wouldn't know they were there. So always 4A sensors, long range for res farming. Or if you're at a compromise nav beacon, uh, as well, it would work there, but not for assassination missions or anything like that. You don't need them. So it's not on any combat ship. It's just if you've got a pirate farming ship, then 4A long range sensors. So that's it for the build. So now we're going to try it out. Right, so here I am in the destination where I'm getting the pirates. Now, this is a low resource extraction site. That's very important. This wouldn't work in a high. I don't think it work in a medium. It certainly won't work in a has. And it's in planet 5 of the target system. So you just fly out here when you arrive in this system. It's the first time. Open up the system map, and you'll see the furthest planet, which is planet 5. Just target it. Fly out here. When you get here, you'll see the low resource extraction site, which you can then target and drop in. Um, so the next thing is you will need bait. So if you've arrived here without it, it's too late. You should have got it before you came. I've got about 30 odd tons of Bertrandite on here, which I had on the carrier. You have to have some cargo. I think the quantity and the type doesn't make any difference whatsoever. And this T10, as I mentioned before, the hatchbreaker limpets don't seem to be able to get through with the point defense that I've got. If you look at the number on the right, it was 10,000, so I've used nearly 700 point defenses so far fighting off hatchbreaker limpets. And but it seems to work. On a Corvette, they did get through sometimes. When I only had 5 cargo, they got them all. But when I increased it to about 30, I found that maybe 16 would leak out if a hatch breaker got through, and that pirate would go away happy. But at least that left me some left to carry on for a bit until another hatch breaker got through. And so I, I I can't say how much cargo to bring, but if you bring 30, I'm sure you'll be absolutely fine. But so far with the T10, nobody's ever got through. So maybe 5 or 1 would be enough. Don't know. Um, yeah. Just remember, this is just an academic exercise. It's not a way to play the game. So don't start hating me for leaving hate messages because this isn't the way to play the game. I'm just doing it to show, as a purely academic exercise. Um, I got 300 billion already, not from doing this, but from playing normally. So the money doesn't do anything for me whatsoever. And if you're not sure about all the details of how to get the missions and or how to use the T10 to get loads of money playing normally, have a look at my previous video, which was for beginners. You can use a vulture or anything like that to kill these pirates, and it's just as easy, and you get your 600 million a trip if you do it right. Um, right now, you'll notice that my ship's rolling. That's I wouldn't say it's dead important, but it definitely helps. So what happens is the NPCs know how to shoot from the locations where your turrets can't get them. But by rolling, they can't sit there continuously shooting at you. So um, it seems to be much safer. So it keeps them, having to effectively shoot your ship from different angles. You can leave it in a tumble or a roll or a yaw, anything, just as long as the ship's changing orientation, so that they can't get it. Um, Now, with the X52, that's dead easy. X52 type joystick, you just unplug it, tilt it a little bit, and then plug it back in while it's tilted, and then let go. And what that does is it'll center it in the tilted state, so when you let go, it tilts the other way. Um, I guess if you've got any other one that doesn't do that, then a bit of string and a weight, or I'm sure you can conjure up some way, lean something against it, so just tilts a bit. You don't want to go too fast, otherwise the turrets won't keep up. So about this speed, maybe a little bit slow would work. I wouldn't want to go much faster than this. So that's about it. I've been here 5 hours so far, and most of the missions complete. Uh, this is showing me when that 63 is down, that's my last mission. So that would be 126 pirates because I had 2 of these 63 missions. The other one's completed. So that means I've got 5 more pirates to kill, and then I can go back. But if all that happens is after you've killed your quantity, you'll still get bounty money, but the missions are complete. There'll be no mission targets. But so it doesn't matter if you want to go for 12 hours, leave it for 12 hours and come back. You'll have all your missions complete plus a load of extra bounties. So the number of pirates coming doesn't change. It's just whether the mission targets or not. The only thing is, the longer you leave it, the worse the stuttering becomes. And after an all-nighter, it can be pretty horrendous in the morning. But it's still doable. Like you can still, if you're careful, figure out which way to fly out and get away. Um, yeah, so see you back at the station. Oh yeah, just one other thing while I'm still here. Be careful. Might want to check after about half an hour or something like that your ship isn't actually moving, because if it ends up against a rock, it sort of gets continuous abrasion and your shields will go down. I found my Corvette like that one time. that you know, I parked it up. When I came back an hour later, the shields were gone completely, and I was under attack. And it was because it was leaning against the rock. So though it shows 0 speed, I think you can have like half a meter a second or something, like anything less than half, and it shows 0. So just make sure that you're actually at 0, especially with this tumbling. You can see this in this resource extraction site, the rocks are quite close together, so there's not much space between them. But you can move away from them. Anything up to say 5 kilometres from the centre seems to be just as good. I, I don't think it makes much of a difference. But by the time you get out to about 6 or 7, you don't get so many pirates out there. I don't think they can find you so easily. I think the closer to the centre you are, the better. But um, uh, yeah, anything up to 3 kilometres will be fine. So you feel a bit safer away from the rocks there. Yeah, one other important thing. Um, the devs haven't programmed the game very well, and what happens is when you stay here for a long time, as the bounties accumulate, the kills accumulate, the frame rate goes down. I don't know whether I can demonstrate that now because it comes and goes, and this is a very high spec PC, but I'm just pitching continuously, and you might just be able to see it just occasionally stuttering. And before, when I was on the panel, I could hardly move the cursor. I couldn't select it because there's so much lag and the panels. So it's settled down a bit now. I think it depends who's about, whether there's any laser fire as well. But the longer you stay, the slower it gets. So if you're on a lesser PC as well, it's probably going to do it more. You start to notice it after about 2 to 3 hours, and then but if you leave it overnight, when you come in the morning, you can hardly control the ship. Yeah, it's gone now. Look, you see there you go. See how it's stuttering. It does come and go, but the longer you stay, the more it comes and the less it goes. That's the best way to describe it. So I'm not too sure why. It's nothing to do with your graphics card, and the power of the PC doesn't make a big difference. So it does it on every PC. As I said, this one's got a 3090 graphics card. It's an i9, top of the spec, top of the range sort of spec, and but it does it. And I think once you see laser fire, especially if it's you that's doing the firing, the ship becomes uncontrollable. But that doesn't matter because it's just parked here, and the game's playing itself. But watch out for that. There's nothing you can do about it. But when you come to fly away in the morning, there is something you can do about it. Yeah, if you log off and log back on again, it resets. Or if you jump out, jump back in again. But of course, the spawn will reset as well. So, you know, whether that's a good thing or not depends on how you're doing. Just watch out for that. Right, here we are back at the station. I can't remember what I said earlier, but I think I gave wrong information about the time it's taken. I just checked the video. I arrived at the resource extraction site roughly 12:50, and now it's 17:14. So you can say 4.5 hours total to kill all the power. It's a slightly higher rate than I normally get. So let's just see how much we get. I'm on 1699 million at the moment. So just cash them all in. I'm just going for the money. There's grade 5 engineering materials for some of them, and obviously if you're not repped up, you know you might want to choose the rep in the beginning. So there's 20 missions you see, and if you're quick, you can see how much they're worth. Each one that's 41, another 41, another 41. Most of them are 41. That was the stuff. Fill up one. So if you just sat at your computer re-logging every 10 minutes, it'd probably take you 2 hours to fill up with emissions. That's about the number of refreshes you need. So that's it. So I was on 1699. So we call that 1700. So 644, 645 million. But I've got a NPC crew who's nicked 10%, so it would have been 700 million. But all's not over yet because also is the bounties which you get from the authority contacts, another 23 million, 24 million, money for nothing. So what's that? Roughly, well, without the crew, it'd have been 700 odd million for uh, actual 2 hours work on the computer, but maybe 2.5 hours at most. So you took about 300 million an hour while you're actually doing something, and even if you include the whole time as if you were active on it, that would that be 3.5, so 4.5, 5, 6.5 hours. You still took about 100 million an hour for the overall thing. But of course, if you do the mission stacking sort of offline while you're at work on your laptop, just leave it running and then just check it every so often and nick the missions. Uh, it's 700 million for about 10 minutes work, which has got to be the highest paying rate in the game. So, as I said, it's just an academic exercise, a bit of fun. Um, I'm not recommending that you do this. I can't see any advantage whatsoever because you can kill the pirates much quicker manually, even with a sidewinder. Uh, so if you want to have a go at it, good luck. But I just wanted to share that with interested people. So don't hate me for it. I, I don't mean you to cheat you out of any gameplay or anything like that. Right. So if you've got any questions, ask them, and I'll in the chat, and I always try and reply when I can. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you again in a future video. So Hugh Jordan out.